What's going on, guys? I'm Anastasio here with FlytPath.com. So I've been using the Insta360 One RS for the past month now, and I've also been using it alongside this right here, which a lot of people know is the GoPro Hero 10. And in my previous video, a lot of people would ask me, is it worth getting? Is it worth getting versus a GoPro? What are some of the differences? And in this video, I just want to talk to you about my experience using this camera, also my experience using the GoPro, and what are some of the big things you might want to think about before making a decision between these two. Now to jump right into some of the differences between this camera right here, the Insta360 One RS, and something like this, the GoPro. Of course, as you can see, it's in pieces because this is a modular camera. Now what's the benefit of it being modular? Well, if you do get the twin edition setup, this is the 4K camera right here, and you also get a 360 camera. And one of the benefits of this is if you want to shoot a standard action camera way and you wanted to have the 4K camera, you can just hook it up just like that, use the 4K lens, and then now you have a camera that's very similar to a GoPro or other action cameras. Then if you want to switch out and shoot 360, all you do is remove the battery, pop off the 4K camera, plug in the 360 camera, and there you go. Now you have a full 360 camera. So you do get pretty much two cameras in one, versus here you do have the standard GoPro with the 5K camera. However, you don't have that 360 option. And when you do purchase this, you can actually purchase this setup right here for $549, and you're gonna get these two camera setups. If you were to go with something like the GoPro and you wanted to have both types of cameras, you would need to get something like a GoPro as well as the GoPro Max. The GoPro Max is the 360 version for GoPro, and if you were to get both of those cameras, added those up, it'd be over $900 to get a standard action camera and the GoPro Max, which is their 360 camera. So if you are new to action cameras and you're currently looking for one and also looking at exploring 360, this might be a very good option for you because you're getting best of both worlds for about $550, where here or some of the other action cameras on there, you're gonna need to buy two separate ones. The one thing I really like about these cameras is the stabilization now on all the new action cameras are extremely good. The Insta360 uses what they call flow state stabilization on this camera, and then GoPro, they're calling it hyper smooth. That's what they call their stabilization on the GoPro lineup. If you are using these as standard action cameras, just kind of holding these for everyday use, stabilization on these are extremely good. The one thing that's a little bit different here is if you are using the 360 mod on the One RS, you can really take advantage of that flow state stabilization, because if you are shooting in 360 and you bring it into the Insta360 Studio app, you have full control over the horizon as well as the stabilization when you're using the 360 mod on the One RS. And speaking of the Insta360 Studio app, I think that's one of the biggest reasons why the Insta360 kind of ecosystem is really good. The app is actually really good at handling the 360 video that comes out of this camera. And you can reposition the footage whichever way you like, and then export out that piece of footage. And if you're not too familiar with editing 360 footage, the great thing about the Studio app too is that they do have AI tracking. So if you do have a subject in your video, all you have to do is actually drag a box around your subject, and the AI tracking in the Studio app will then follow that subject all the way around automatically, and all you have to do then is just reposition it and export it out. The one thing I do like about the GoPro versus the Insta360 is the wider field of view. So if you're using the 4K mod by itself versus something like the GoPro, I definitely will lean towards the GoPro if I'm going to be doing something that needs a lot wider of a field of view. Even when I'm doing something like vlogging, it's still pretty wide with the Insta360 One RS, but I do like the wider field of view on the GoPro. Now when it comes to image quality, both these cameras, when you're out there in really good lighting, are extremely good. Now the One RS 4K, this does have a 1/2-inch sensor capable of 48 megapixel photos versus the GoPro Hero 10. So this has a little bit bigger of a sensor. I'm gonna have a bunch of footage here on screen for you to take a look at as far as side-by-side goes. Let me know down in the comment section which one you guys prefer. As far as color science, do you like the color science on the GoPro Hero 10 or on the Insta360 One RS? The one big advantage of the GoPro versus the Insta360 One RS is the size of the screen. As you can see, see the back screen of the GoPro is significantly bigger than the RS. So if you do want to change your menu systems, it's a lot easier here on the GoPro. And also with the RS, you only have the ability to have a screen either on the front or the back. On the GoPro, you do have the screen on both sides, so it's easy for you to go from front to back and see everything on the screen, where here on the One RS, you have to choose whether you want it on the front or the back. And then if you want to switch it, you have to then take it apart, switch the main component around, and then you can actually now have a screen on the front. Also, one advantage of the Insta360 platform as far as the modular setup goes, like I mentioned, even though the 4K camera does have a little bit bigger of a sensor than the GoPro, the one thing that's great about Insta360 is that if you wanted to go even bigger, they do have this 1-inch sensor camera that you're able to pop onto the brain right there, use the same battery, and there you go. Now you do have a larger censored camera. You can have a lot better quality out of something like this. Now, as far as shooting functions, both cameras have all the standard shooting functions that you would expect. They do have photo mode, video mode, time lapse. They have multiple features within their apps. The one thing that the Insta360 One RS does have are a few other ones like shot labs, multi-view, and freeze frame. These are some features within the app that GoPro doesn't offer. And one of my final thoughts on these two cameras and which one should you get, like I said, it really depends on your situation. If you don't have an action camera and you're looking at dabbling into both shooting with an action camera and possibly getting into 360, then bang for buck, I would probably look into getting the Insta360 One RS. Now for me, because I do have a few different options, I personally like having separate cameras when I'm out there shooting. Plus when I'm out there, I like the ability to have two separate. So whether I'm shooting with this setup right here and a 360 camera, or a GoPro and a 360 camera, I like having these separated so I can easily just take them out of my pocket, start shooting, and then put them away. Then if I want to shoot 360, take this one out and start shooting with this camera. Now this video is just to give you guys a quick rundown of my experience using these two. Of course, I have in-depth videos on both the GoPro and the Insta360 One RS. If you guys want to see all of the features and functions of these cameras, I'll make sure they're linked down below in the video description. Make sure you guys check those out. If you're looking at getting this camera here, the One RS or the One X2 or even the Insta360 Go 2, Insta360 is giving my viewers a gift that use my affiliate link down below in the video description. Hope you guys got some value from this video, and if you did, a big like would be much appreciated. Make sure you guys check out the other videos on these cameras right here. Of course, if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. This is Ultra Stasio with FlytPath.com. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.